Good afternoon, everyone. We'll start now. So, as you all know, we are studying our second unit called Solving Problems by Searching. So, here two strategies are very important, that is, uninformed search strategies and informed search strategies. In the last class, in the last week, we studied about uninformed search strategies, and there we studied 5 algorithms. Those are uh, breadth first search, that is BFS, then UCS algorithm, that is uniform cost search, then depth first search, then depth limited search, and iterative deepening search algorithms, right? And yesterday we started with informed search strategies, and we studied 2 algorithms in that, that is greedy best first search and A-star algorithm, right? Today we are going to continue with the third algorithm, that is recursive best first search. So we'll start now. Okay, so this is a modified A-star algorithm. As you can see, the evaluation function of the RBFS is same, that is evaluation function is denoted by f of n, right? So the evaluation function of RBFS is also same, that is f of n equals to g of n plus h of n, and we know that g of n is actually our path cost and h of n is our heuristic function, right? So everything was good for the A-star algorithm. It was complete, it was optimal also. The time complexity was exponential, so sometimes we may allow the exponential time complexity, so we may wait for days to get the result, but this exponential space complexity is not acceptable. Okay, so when we have algorithms of exponential space complexity, our machine may run out of a memory. Okay, if you remember, okay, so this exponential space complexity is not acceptable. So if we have exponential space complexity algorithm, our machine may run out of the memory. So if you remember the example that I have given you when we discussed breadth first search, there we have seen one table, and we have seen, let me show that. So branching factor was 10 and the depth limit was 10. There, for that we required around 10 TB of the main memory, which is impractical, right? So when we have branching factor equals to 10 and depth is greater than 10, we require at least 10 TB of the main memory, which is impractical, right? So that's why we want to avoid that exponential time, space complexity. Okay, so that is the problem with A star. Okay, we don't want that exponential space complexity, that we want to avoid in RBFS algorithm. Okay, so that is the benefit of this RBFS algorithm, that it requires linear space. Okay, so remember the evaluation function of RBFS, it is same like as that of A star, and it requires linear space. Okay, so how we could reduce that memory requirement? So here one thing we are doing is we are using a tree version of the search algorithm, tree version, so we are not maintaining the explore set. And second thing is we are using this f limit variable, and it stores the f value of the best alternative path. Okay, so for a node there can be a alternative node. Okay, so we are going to store the f value means the f of n value, okay, evaluation function value of the alternative. So consider this is A node and this is B node. Okay, and consider this B is the best alternative for A, so its f of n value will be stored in the f limit value of the A node. Okay, so let us see the working of RBFS with the example. So consider our traveling salesman problem. So we know the problem statement. Our agent wants to go from Arad city to the Bucharest city, right? So I am storing the f limit variable in this rectangle above the node. Arad is our starting point, so there will be no alternative for this Arad city, right? We have to start from this. That's why its f limit is infinity. So what is f limit? It is a f value of the alternative, right? So there is no alternative for Arad, so its f limit value is infinity, and this is its f of n value. F of n is what? G of n plus h of n. We know that g of n is the path cost. Okay, so path cost for Arad would be 0 because it is a starting point, and heuristic function is given in that table which we saw yesterday. So first we have to calculate the f of n value. Now Arad is ready for the expansion, so we are applying the goal test at the time of expansion. We'll check whether Arad is goal state or not. It is not a goal state, so we'll expand it. So these three childs are generated. We will calculate their f of n score. Okay, now this, so expanded set I am showing by this shaded oval. Now we have to, so these three nodes will be there in the frontier, this CBU, Timisoara and Zerin, and it is actually a priority queue and ordered by f of n value, right? So CBU will be at the top, and CBU we will select the CBU for expansion, right? Because it has the lowest f of n value. See, it is 393, 447, 449. So this has the lowest f of n value, so it will be selected for expansion. Okay, so now we have to update its f limit value. Okay, now who is the best alternative for CBU? It is Timisoara, right? It is the best alternative for CBU. So we are going to store its f of n value in the f limit value of CBU. Okay, so that's why here we have written 447. Now CBU is ready for expansion. We will apply the goal test. CBU is not a goal state, so we will expand it. So these 4 childs are generated. Now in frontier we have these 6 nodes, these 4 plus these 2. Okay, now who is the node with the lowest f of n value? It is this RV city. Okay, with 413 score. Okay, we'll select this for expansion. Whether it is a goal state? No. So now who is the best alternative for this RV? So it is with this is Fagares with 415 value. Okay, so that's why here we have written 415. Okay, so for RV, Fagares is the best alternative. Now we'll apply the goal test whether RV is a goal state. No, so we'll expand it, and now these 3 childs are generated. Now all these unshaded nodes will be there in the frontier. Okay, with this f of n value ordered by this f of n value. Now who is the node with the lowest f of n value? It is Fagares. Okay, and so what we have to do? We have to unwind this search tree, go back to CBU, and we have to expand this Fagares. Okay, so recursion will unwind. Okay, we have to go back to the this CBU. Okay, and then we have to expand Fagares. So here we have to do one additional thing. As this recursion unwinds, we have to replace the f value of some nodes along the path with the backed up value. Okay, so what we have to do? We have to find. Okay, so now our recursion is unwinding. Okay, we have to go to the other sub branch, right? So we have to update the f value of this RV city. Let me change the color. Okay, so we have to update the f value of this RV city. So now we are going to replace that f value with the best child value. Okay, so the best child is this one, Pitesti with 417. So we have to update its f value with the f value of its best child. Okay, so that we have to do. This is to avoid the looping, that will be clear later on. Okay, so we have replaced that, and we have reached to this Fagares. Now Fagares is ready for expansion. So we will apply the goal test. Whether it is goal? No. So we have to expand it. Okay, now who is the best alternative for Fagares? It is this RV city with this one. Okay, so this is how with this updation our RBFS remembers the that forgotten subtree. Okay, so this is forgotten subtree, right? So this is how we are remembering the best leaf node in that forgotten subtree. Okay, so that is this 417 is the best alternative for this Fagares. Now it is expanded and these child nodes are generated. Now all the unshaded nodes are there in frontier, and as you can see, this RVCT sub branch is having the lowest f of n value. Okay, so again we have to backtrack, again our recursion is unwinding, and again we are going in that RV sub branch. Okay, so as our recursion is unwinding, we have to update the f value of this Fagares. Okay, so we have to update this value. Okay, so which can be seen here. So that 415 is replaced by its best child. The best child of Fagares is Bucharest with 450 score. So 415 is replaced by 450, and again we have come down to the Pitesti node. Okay, with 417 value, right? So now the node with the lowest value of f of n is Pitesti. Now it is ready for expansion. We'll check whether it is a goal state. It is not a goal state, so we'll expand it, and these 3 childs are generated. Okay, and their f of n value will be calculated. Now the node with the lowest f of n value is Bucharest. Okay, so Bucharest will be selected for the expansion, and it is a go state, so we'll stop here. Did you get the working of RBFS? So here two things are additional. We have to keep on updating the f limit value. Okay, so we have to update the f limit value of the node which are ready for the expansion, plus we have to take care of this updation of backed up score. Okay, so when the recursion unwinds, we have to update the f value of that parent. Okay, Fagares was the parent of this child. Okay, we will replace its f value with the f of n value of its best child. Okay, so this is about RBFS. As this is modified version of A star, so it will be complete, it will be optimal. Now time complexity. So the time complexity of RBFS is very difficult to characterize, because here the performance of RBFS totally depends on the quality of the h of n. What is our h of n? It is a heuristic function, right? So if you have a better h of n, then the time complexity of RBFS would be less, and in worst case it would be exponential, right? Now space complexity is linear. Why it is linear? Because you are not maintaining the explore set. Okay, so memory requirement will be less. So if you compare it with the DFS algorithm, there also we have a linear time complexity, right? So if we implement DFS using a tree version, so that time we were having a linear time space complexity, right? Order of b into m, right? So here also we have a linear space complexity. So this is regarding RBFS. So I think it is clear to you. Shall I repeat? Okay, the last topic in this unit is heuristic function. Okay, so in informed search strategies, we have heuristic function, right? As compared to uninformed search strategies, there we had only problem definition, right? But in informed search algorithm, we have problem statement plus this heuristic function, and heuristic function was guiding us, right, to go in a particular branch or to prune some of the branches, right? So performance of this heuristic search algorithms depends on the quality of heuristic function. Okay, so we have to build a better heuristic function. So consider, so how to determine the quality of heuristic function? So for that you consider this example. So this is our 8 puzzle problem. So we know that there will be an initial configuration. Okay, that is the start state of the 8 puzzle problem, and we have to move these tiles. Okay, and we have to reach to this final configuration. So that is a goal state. Okay, so we have to make a movements and in order to reach to this goal state. So here I have defined two heuristic, H1 and H2. H1 is the number of misplaced tiles. Okay, so H1 will calculate how many misplaced tiles are there. So if you calculate H1 score for this start state, it would be 8, because all the tiles are out of place, right? So one is not there, is not in its place, second is also not there, right? So all the tiles are misplaced, so the H of n value is 8. As you keep on solving, this H1 score will reduce, right? Because the tiles will come in its place, right? So H1 score will decrease, and H2 is city block distance of the tiles. Okay, so what do you mean by city block distance? It is the distance of tiles from their goal position. Okay, now these tiles can move either in vertical direction, downwards, right and left. They cannot move diagonally, right? That's why we have to calculate city block distance. So now how to calculate city block distance of tile number 1? So it is 1, 2 and 3 places away, right? So that will be 3. So for 1 it is 3. For 2, okay, so only one move is required. So 1. For 3, we have to make 1 and 2 moves, right? So 2 plus, for 4 it is, for, okay, from here he has to move this downwards and then leftwards. So 2. For 5 it is 2. For 6 it is 3. And for 7, okay, 1, 2 and 3, right? So 3. For 8 it would be 2, and if you add these numbers, so you will get 18. Okay, so this is the city block distance of all the tiles. Okay, so these are two heuristics. So now I am going to compare the performance of these two heuristic, and for that I am going to use A star algorithm. Okay, so this is the A star with H1 heuristic, and this is the A star with H2 heuristic. Here I am also comparing uninformed search strategy with informed search strategy. So out of 5 algorithms, I have chosen the best one, that is iterative deepening search. Okay, and we have A star here, and I am going to compare on 2 parameters, that is how many nodes are generated, okay, and effective branching factor. Okay, now we will talk about the branching factor in 8 puzzle problem. And so consider this is my start node. Okay, now my blank space is at the middle. Okay, so how many actions are possible here? So my blank space can move towards left, right, up and down. So at this moment my branching factor is 4. So from the start node I have 4 actions possible. When my blank space is in the corner, my branching factor would be 2 only, because it can either move upwards or downwards or left or right, right? And for other places my branching factor would be 3. Okay, so this is regarding branching factor in 8 puzzle problem. So it can be 2, 3 or 4. Okay, so now see here. So we'll first talk about the branching factor. So for IDS it is around 2.7 constantly. Okay, that means you have to visit 3 branches. Okay, but if you compare the score of H1 heuristic, it is around 1.4. Okay, so at max, so you have to visit 2 branches, and if you see the score of H2, it is 1.2 constantly. Okay, so most of the time you have to visit only 1 branch. Okay, so it is effectively pruning other branches. Okay, so as we can see, H2 is performing well. Okay, now we'll talk about nodes generated. So as expected, there is exponential growth in case of a iterative deepening search. See the number of nodes, and actually they could not find, they don't have that computational power to process that many nodes. So that's why we don't have reading for depth greater than 12. Okay, so their machine may have run out of the memory. Okay, so we don't have reading for that. And as you can see here, H1 and H2 has linear growth in the number of nodes. And see this figure, it is actually pretty good numbers, right? So here we can make 2 observations. So informed search algorithms are efficient than uninformed search algorithms, provided their heuristic should be of quality, right? And here, so if you compare these two heuristic, H2 is dominating H1 in terms of node generated, because it has less number of node generated and its branching factor is also less. Okay, H2. So we can say that H2 is dominating H1. Okay, so this is how you require your problem domain knowledge in order to build such heuristic. Okay, and last thing that we have missed is we have to talk about the performance measures of UCS algorithm. So that time, so I skipped the explanation how these numbers figures are coming. So just will quickly recap what is UCS algorithm. So UCS comes under uninformed search strategy, and here we expand the node with the lowest path cost, and which is indicated by G of n. And here frontier is implemented in the form of priority queue ordered by G of n. We have seen this algorithm also, right? And here the goal test is applied at the time of expansion rather than generation, right? So, and we have seen this example also. And during if we apply BFS here, we were getting this branch, this path. Okay, actually this is not optimal. This is the optimal solution, right? And UCS was giving that solution. So it was complete and optimal. And what about this time complexity? Okay, so here the main thing is UCS is guided by the path cost rather than the depth. So its complexity is just easily categorized in terms of, we cannot categorize it in terms of B and D, because okay, it is guided by the path cost, right? So we cannot measure in terms of a B and D. So for that we use this two variable, that is C star and this epsilon. And what is this C star? It is the cost of optimal solution. So every action cost at least epsilon cost. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? So consider, so this is our start state and this is goal state, and C star, consider C star is our, for this case is 100. Okay, and epsilon is consider 10. Okay, so every action will at least cost 100. Okay, so what we want, what is the depth of that? Okay, for other what we have measured, B raised to power D, right? We want depth. Okay, so for this is this many action you have to take, 100 by 10. Okay, so these many actions are required. Okay, that's why we have written here C star by epsilon and floor value of that. Okay, so that's how this expression came. Okay, this many actions are required, and that would be the depth. Okay, and we have other branches also. For these many branches, that is the depth required. So that's why we have this expression. Okay, and so when every action cost same value, okay, so if we have 100, C star equals to 100, and consider every action is costing me 10. Okay, so in that case your UCS will become BFS. Okay, so how to explain that? See the BFS. Okay, it is optimal when step costs are equal. Okay, so we have to discuss this in depth actually, but do you get this concept how this figure is coming? We wanted that depth. Okay, so for that what we are considering, the path cost of the optimal solution, which is indicated by C star, and we are assuming that every action cost at least epsilon value. Okay, so this division C star by epsilon will give me that depth. Okay, this many actions you have to perform. Okay, and that's why our time complexity is given by this figure. Okay, so in this way we have completed our second unit. So I have two news for you. Good news is we don't have class tomorrow because we have FDP in our college, And second news is you have a test on Monday, MCQ test. It will be considered for your CA1. It will be for 10 marks, and around 25 to 30 questions will be there, MCQ question, and timing will be 10 to 11 in our class time only. So we'll stop here. Any doubt? For the preparation of test, you have to refer our textbook. It is shared in our classroom. The best thing will be if you buy this book. Okay, entire syllabus is from one book only. Okay, and it is very nicely written book.